Rhiannon Hughes. I'm now Deputy Principal at North West Kent College, but I was Head Teacher at the secondary modern high school, and therefore I saw what the students' approach to maths was there coming through. And I agree totally with what you were saying about confidence, because what we had to do predominantly with girls, I must say, is give them coaching first in developing their confidence and then go to maths afterwards. But what we're finding at the college is that, as you say, they're already switched off. So we're having a moral debate at the moment. Is it better to have an embedded approach or a separate approach to maths being taught by itself?
So can you
integrated or...
Can you direct, I assume that's at Johnny Law?
To Johnny, yes.
But then I'll look to see if the other panel wants to do it, because obviously we can't have everybody answering every question, so if you can tell you. So Johnny, do you want to pick that up?
Yeah, I'm not in the education sector. I was around, I flit around the edges, and I've done all the time for many years. So I really find it difficult to hone in immediately on what is embedded and what is not embedded. You understand? I don't understand where the guidelines are drawn for teachers. I do know that Maria Montessori said, I mean, the idea of the curriculum, for instance, in where you teach the 5 times table one year and then say you can't learn 5 times 6 till next year, is the most preposterous thing I've ever heard. But apparently some schools actually go along with that because the curriculum seems to state it. And that's preposterous. You really can't teach anything within a strict framework. You get the child into a position where they want to know. When they want to know, you pour the information in until their eyes glaze over and take them anywhere. When I was 7, Hiroshima happened, and I came out of a cub hut with other cubs in the dark under a lamp in Bristol. And we drew in the trodden earth a diagram of the Bristol Channel and Bristol in concentric rings, putting us in our home 5 miles away. And we discussed, age 7, how long we would live if the atom bomb was dropped on Bristol. So the attitude of children is, or the desire to understand the children is only governed by what they don't know. And what they do know, they can paint pictures that are just as clear as any other adult. So to say you only teach at this level, you only teach at this time, is preposterous, and that's a big failing with public education.
Thank you, Johnny. I think Steve and then Geoff are going to comment.
Hi, Rhiannon. I personally would argue for it to be integrated. I did an apprenticeship as a brickie, and my view is that if you're teaching for craft students, a lot of them, if they lack that confidence in maths, if they're doing it in the context of the subject, they don't often know that they're even doing maths. And you can make it much more important if you're teaching hairdressing, if it's something about the business of running a salon. The difficulty we've got with that right now is that Ofsted is pushing us towards everybody who may have a D doing the GCSE. And my personal view is that for the majority of our students, it isn't actually the right choice for them. They're also revamping the GCSE at the moment. It's going to be much harder. Especially in the maths GCSE, it's almost close to being a double GCSE, but they're not going to allow it to be a double. I think we should hold our nerve on that, and we should put the kids in to do functional skills, and we should make it... Functional skills is much closer to what employers have asked for, but we're having a worry at the moment, and we're thinking that functional skills that we should be going towards GCSE. I think it should be embedded. I think it's slightly different for kids that are perhaps going to be progressing towards higher education, where the GCSE is going to make a difference to their career choices. But alongside that, I'd go for some of the enthusiasm that Johnny was talking about earlier to try and get into our teaching, because that's the only way we're going to deal with the funding cut, is we've got to do the equivalent of MOOCs, we've got to do some very different things around maths, but let's try and resist GCSE for everybody.
And they're going to be introducing VOOCs, aren't they? Vocational.
Right.
VOOCs, yes, Harry Industry, the University for Industry is going to fund some developments in that. And I forgot to say that Stephen was actually a bricklaying student at Midkent College when he was first went to a college, didn't you know? That
I was, yeah.
So actually went through that route. Geoff, please.
I absolutely agree with the idea of embedding it. Professor John Hattie's looked at 800 factors that are supposed to affect students' attainment, and very, very few have a negative outcome. But one of them is what he calls retention, and that's what educationalists who do this research mean by retaking a year. And that's got an effect size of -0.7 or so. In other words, it's an absolute disaster to retake a qualification. Because, you know, Einstein said, you know, if you keep doing the same thing expecting different outcomes, you're mad. You need to do it in a different way. So I absolutely agree, it needs to be embedded. And if they need to take a GCSE later, maybe they'll have the confidence that Johnny was talking about and be able to take the GCSE subsequently. But they need a new way. We've got to teach them differently to the way that we were taught them at school.
This is such a key debate in our sector at the moment.